Hi, friends. Welcome. Today we are finishing up our month's focus on rhythm and flow, and today's practice is going to be focused on change and variability. So, listening to what rhythm is calling to you and responding to whatever is present. So, we'll get started getting comfortable on your mats. Maybe you're in a seat, maybe you're laying back, and if you have a block, grab it, and if you don't, you won't need it. It's okay. Okay, so like I said, let's get started by getting comfortable. Maybe you're sitting like this, maybe you choose to lay back. And as we're checking in with the rhythms or the flows that we are feeling today, take a few moments to just notice your body where it rests. Check in with all the points that are supported by the mat, by other parts of the body. Allow those spaces to rest, to seal, to settle in. And then bring your awareness to your breath without changing your breath in any way. Your hands might help here if you want to bring your hands to your shoulders or your belly button, maybe over your heart. You might notice the hands moving as you breathe. You might notice the temperature of your breath or the rate where you feel your breath in your body. As you notice things, can you help from ascribing a good or a bad? No need to label what we notice as either good or bad, just accepting what's there. Then from here, you might move to your diaphragmatic breath practice. So, all that means is we're thinking about moving with our breathing, with our diaphragm, this muscle that moves up and down our abdomen here to help us breathe. So, we're stilling the chest if we can, or moving the shoulders less as we inhale and exhale. And thinking about sending the ribs, feeling the expansion as we inhale right here, where you notice the ribs starting. And then exhale, feeling the ribs come in towards the spine. You can do this throughout your day. I try to do this at the gym, where I need a lot of oxygen. Thinking about not moving my shoulders if possible. And really noticing my breath with my diaphragm, or sending the breath as deep as it'll go in the abdomen. It's okay if the chest or the shoulders are still moving. It's okay if this kind of breath isn't natural. It might feel a little strange. We'll be here for 3 more breaths at your pace. Wherever you are, we're going to bring the chest and the knees towards one another. So if you're seated, you just want to hinge from your hips and draw your chest towards your legs, or towards, have your legs in front of you, and then draw your chest towards your legs. And if you're laying back, we're going to float the legs up towards the chest. If you're seated, you might use your hands in front of your legs or to your sides to support the upper body. And if you're on your mat, you might use your hands to assist the legs towards your chest. Just a gentle fold. I love starting my yoga practices like this before the teacher even gets there, just finding a stretch and checking in with the spine, the shoulders, the hips. Maybe as you fold, you notice some movement that might feel good, maybe lifting and lowering the abdomen if you're seated, or rocking back and forth if you're on your mat laying back. And then check in with that kind of deep fold. Can you get a little bit deeper, a little bit closer? Or notice a little more sensation. Remember that everything is optional. So if you want less sensation, take less. Change the shape or take another shape. Okay, friends, from here we're going to find some movement of your choice. You might have seen that coming. So maybe if you're seated, you find your seated cat-cows. Maybe if you're laying back, you move the knees in a circle, really checking in with the hips. You might find some windshield wipers. You might move the neck from one side to the other, shoulder, looking shoulder to shoulder. If we're seated, our cat-cows might be like arching the spine and then rounding the spine. Or you might like to find some stillness, neutral spine, and look over one shoulder and then the other. Or if we're seated, you might expand by rotating the neck and the chin in circles. Remember, as we practice, there'll be a ton of choices today because we're listening to what we want and making choices for what is good for us. So maybe you chose one thing and maybe you want to choose something else. There's no need to stick to it and be rigid in that way. Allow this flow to be what feels good for you, to be responsive to what you need. And when you're ready to move on, we are going to find our sun salutations. So, tons of options here. I would recommend standing. Take your time getting there. And think about how you feel about forward folds. If forward folds are tricky, you can always bring a block in between your legs and allow the block to bring a mat to you before you fold forward. If it feels better, you can use a wall to support you as you fold forward, pressing your hands into the wall and keeping this fold more at a 90 degrees. Or you can skip folds altogether, or you can think of your fold by tucking the chin and letting the head be really heavy. So wherever you are, tons of options there. Remember, you can go back and forth. We'll inhale, lift the hands just as high as feels good for you with the length of your inhale. When you're ready to exhale, find a forward fold. When you're ready to inhale, we'll find a halfway lift. So it might look like that 90-degree angle, like a number 7, with the legs and the abdomen. Your hands might be resting on your thighs or your calves. When you're ready to exhale, we'll fold forward. Find your fold. Maybe it's a different one. When you're ready to inhale, use all of your strength to rise up. Lift the hands as high as feels good for you. Exhale, fold. So moving here with your breath. Inhale's a halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. That's our sun salutation, friends. Exhales, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, using all your strength, come all the way back up. So we'll move here through your sun salutations, exhaling to fold. Inhaling to find a lift, maybe it's halfway or all the way. And exhaling to fold. Moving with your breath. checking in with your rhythm for your day, letting go of my movements, letting this be yours. Take 3 more salutations on your own, taking your time. Remember, you can always stay in a shape if it feels good, if it feels like what you need. And one final rotation on your own. When you're ready to move on, we'll meet in a downward facing dog or a tabletop, whatever you prefer. So, for tabletop, we'll have our hands underneath our shoulders, our knees underneath the hips. For our down dog, we'll tuck the toes, lift the hips high, chest draws towards the thighs. So find some movement here that feels good. Maybe if you're in tabletop, you're finding your cat-cows like this, dropping the belly, pointing the nose and the tailbone for the sky, and then rounding the spine, lifting the navel up and in, tucking the tailbone and the chin. Maybe if you're in down dog, you're bending one knee and then the other, dropping the opposite heel. Or some people like to shimmy their shoulders or their hips. If you're in tabletop, you might drop your hips to one side or the other. And then wherever you are, for the next few breaths, let's find some stillness. Whether you're in tabletop or down dog, think about creating space through the vertebrae. So really reaching through the crown of the head and sending the tailbone back. Pressing the mat away with the hands and the legs that are resting. For 3 more breaths, your down dog or your tabletop. Building strength and awareness. Want to brace the core. Think about evening out the weight between the hands, keeping that intention even as we send our weight into our right leg and lift the left leg. If we're in our down dog, it's a 3-legged dog. If we're on tabletop, you might extend it back like a bird dog or bend your knee. Up to you. Again, think about really pressing the mat away evenly with both hands, engaging the left hip to point down towards the mat. It's going to check in with our core, our abdominals. 3 more breaths here. So strong. When you're ready, come back to your tabletop or down dog. Take any rest that you need. And then from here, you might find a twist. If you want, if we're on our down dog, we'll bring our right shoulder in towards the center of the mat and peek underneath your left armpit for a little twist. Maybe you send the right hand to the left leg if that feels good. We're on our tabletop. We're going to extend the right hand over towards the left, or you can keep the right hand down and send the right elbow down, peeking underneath your left elbow. 2 more breaths here, wherever you've chosen. And then find your tabletop or down dog. We'll take that on the other side. Bring our weight into our left foot, right leg lifts. Notice the pose. Adjust as you need. Check in with the spaces that are requiring strength here. Probably a lot in the core, the hips. For 3 more breaths. Remember, you can come in and out as you need. You can switch back and forth between tabletop and down dog. Excellent. Come back. Send the right foot down. And then from here, we'll find our twist. Left shoulder comes in towards the right armpit. It's peeking underneath. Or sneaking the left hand towards the right side. For 5 more breaths here. Noticing what you need. Responding from there. For 2. Excellent. Okay, we're going to come back to our tabletop or our down dog, and then we will find a mountain pose. So standing at the top of the mat. Together however you like. Maybe you walk your hands towards, with your feet towards your hands, or step up through tabletop. From here, we're going to find our chair and our planes, our chair planes. So for chair pose, we're going to root into the heels, really pressing the mat down with the heels as much as we can. Maybe the toes are light and can even wiggle. From there, we're going to engage the core, so bring the belly in, or just think about knitting the ribs together, bracing your core, whatever you want to call it. From there, we're going to bend the knees while keeping the tailbone pointed for the mat as much as possible. So we have still this like long spine as much as possible, and then we're bending through the knees. You decide how deep you bend, sending the thighs towards one another. Chair pose. We might lift the hands high. We might bring them to heart center. I know you're working here. You're doing great. Remember, you decide how high or low your chair is. From here, we'll exhale and send the arms back. Pinkies reach towards the ceiling, triceps pointing up towards the ceiling, thumbs are pointed down. Maybe you hinge from your hips and find a deeper chair. These are our airplane arms. On your next inhale, chair pose, send the hands forward. On your exhale, send them back. Inhale, hands come forward, they might come high. Exhale, sweep them back. You might be keeping your base of your chair still. You might be adjusting, lifting up and dropping down. Moving here with your breath. Noticing your strength. Responding to what you need. For 3 more inhales and exhales. When you're ready, we'll come back to mountain pose. Maybe you keep this just a standing, centering pose. Maybe you find a more engaging mountain by pressing all of your foot, all of both of your feet into the mat, energetically drawing the heels away, reaching the fingertips away from the shoulders, reaching the crown of the head for the sky. So maybe you're in this kind of standing, centering space, or maybe you're noticing more engagement, inviting more energy. All up to you. For 4 more breaths. So strong. When you're ready, we'll bring our weight into the right foot. Left foot steps back, and we're going to find warrior 2. So the left heel is going to come down. The left toes are pointing out towards the long side of the mat. Maybe you need to adjust your foundation here. Yeah, check in. How are the knees feeling? How are the feet feeling? You can adjust your foundation, and think about stacking the shoulders right over the hips, centering the hips in between the legs, and then teeing out the hands, drawing the shoulders towards one another like they're pinching a pencil behind you, and maybe looking over your right fingertips. The right knee is pressing out towards the right side. Warrior two. From here, you might choose to move, flipping the hands, drawing them up towards one another, and straightening the front leg, and then settling back down into your warrior two. Or you might stay in a stable, static warrior two, exploring the pose, inhaling to notice the breath, to notice what you need, and then exhaling to settle. For 4 more breaths. For 3. When you're ready to move on, we'll slide the right fingertips towards the front of the mat, and then the right hand will find the right leg for extended side angle. Maybe your left hand lifts high, and this is your extended side angle, thinking about lengthening through the spine and strengthening through the obliques. If you want a deeper stretch in the hips, we'll send the right hand down, sweep the left hand back, and then up towards the front of the mat, finding a little bit of flight in the left hand for a lower extended side angle. So up to you. Remember, you can always bring your block here to the right hand. So finding a wide pose or a really tall pose, lengthen the spine, creating space between the vertebrae and strength in the side bodies, or a deeper pose, finding a stretch in the hips and the legs. For 4 more breaths. So great warrior, reverse warrior. So right hand floats high, left hand comes behind. Same thing here. Maybe you find a tall, long reverse warrior. Maybe you want a wider reverse warrior working into the side bodies. So I recommend, if we have thoughts about our back and we want it to be a little stronger, a little more stable, finding a longer pose, creating space between the vertebrae, allowing the discs in between them to fill with spinal fluid and support us. And then if we're thinking about strengthening the abdomen, or we just want a wider reach, finding a side bend, making that wider reverse warrior. For 3 more breaths. So the legs have stayed the same. Adjust if you need. Excellent. When you're ready, we will step our feet together towards the front of the mat. Find your mountain pose, engage or still for 5 breaths. Noticing what you need, responding from there. For 2 more breaths. Weight comes into our left foot now, right foot steps back. Warrior two. So right heel dials down. Check in with your foundation, adjust as you need, and then tee out the hands. Maybe your gaze is over your left fingertips. Checking in with the foundation of the pose, and then rising from there. Of course, if you brought movement into the other side, check it out on this side. Our sides are different. So once you try it, you might want to adjust or make a different choice. That's okay. For 4 more breaths. extended side angle from here. So left hand is going to find the left leg, right shoulder is going to come back, right hand might come high for a higher extended side angle. This. Or you might find a deeper extended side angle, kind of windmilling the right hand forward and then lifting it up wherever you are. Think about sending the left shoulder back still, opening through the chest, pointing the hip points and the chest out towards the right side of the mat. Make adjustments as you need for 4 breaths. You are doing great making choices. These choices are not about measuring up to any expectation, but really creating that mind-body connection. Can we be aware of what is present in our bodies? Can we make decisions for them with our minds? Can our bodies respond to everything we're picking up? Okay, y'all got it. Reverse warrior. I'm going to float the left hand high, legs stay where they are or adjust as you need. Maybe you have this high reverse warrior, thinking about creating space through the vertebrae, reaching through the crown of the head. Or maybe you have a wide reverse warrior, really engaging through the obliques and finding a side bend, breathing into the extended left side of the abdomen here. For 8 more breaths. For 4. Let it go. Take as many steps as you need to come to a standing position in the middle of the mat. Take some water if you need, and we will bring our weight into our right foot for our tree pose. So really pressing the right heel, the right toes into the mat, allowing the left foot to feel a little light. Left knee extends out towards the left side. Maybe you find a kickstand, resting the left heel on the right leg. Maybe you lift the left foot, pressing the left foot into the calf, skipping the knee. If you like, of course, you can always assist your left foot up towards the thigh. Just do not press into your knee. We don't want that. That's not our tree. Okay, we're going to press our right foot, our right leg back into our left foot. Find your stable base for your tree. And then grow your branches. Maybe these are your branches. Maybe your branches are here. I like to find a back bend sometimes, or maybe you got a nice willow tree. Make your tree. We'll be here for a few moments. Come in and out as you need, using your gaze to help steady you, because your body is always going to be moving. There's so much energy, so much going on. We're breathing, digesting. So find some steadiness with your gaze, maybe with your breath, sending it out, pointing it in a certain direction. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly come out of the shape as you came into it. Maybe sway the hips from side to side or bend the knees, and then think about really rooting down into the left foot. Right knee opens out to the right side. Build your tree on this side, really pressing the leg back into the lifted foot, growing your branches. Maybe here we can also refrain from choosing good or bad words or good or bad thoughts in response to what we find in this pose, and accept what is. It's only yoga, my friends. Let's be kind to ourselves. We've got 10 more breaths. Take your time. There's always extra points if you can lift the corners of your lips. When you're ready, or you feel even on this side, we'll slowly, with intention, move out of the shape. Take some leg circles or swish the hips from side to side. And then we're going to find a forward fold. So you might like to take your forward fold seated. You might like to do it standing. Of course, like we talked about before, you can always bring the block in between your feet if you're standing. Wherever you are, extend your legs long, if they're not already, and then send the upper body towards the feet. Once you've arrived in your shape and you feel stable, so you might be here, or you might be here, allow the head to be heavy. We'll be here for 4 more breaths. And then when you're ready, we'll find a back bend. So you can take a back bend standing. You just want to lift the head back over the hips. Or you can take it where you are seated. If you are standing, or if you're seated, you want to think about reaching the clavicles up towards the ceiling for this back bend. If we're standing, that means bracing the core, really drawing the muscles of the front body together. Maybe you slide the hands behind or to the sides of the hips as you lift the clavicles up, really rooting down through the heels. Notice how engaging the core supports the lower back. If you're sitting back with your legs extended long, you might bring a block behind your hips, about 6 inches, and point the fingers towards the hips and the palms behind. Bring your weight into your palms, lift through the clavicles. If we're seated, we're thinking about releasing the muscles of the front body. If you want a deeper back bend, we'll bend the elbows, bring the elbows to the mat, and then maybe your back has met the block or the pillow. If you want a deeper back bend, you'll slide the elbows out and use the block to support you as you send your head back towards the mat for fish pose. So if we're standing, you might take a break and find a forward fold, and then come back and build your baby back bend in your standing position. I'll show you that. Standing like this. Using the energy of the front body, if we're standing, to support the back body. So all of this tension is allowing space in the back to fold forward. Maybe your gaze lifts, or maybe your gaze is neutral. And then you might take a break and find a forward fold, and then come back. If we're in our fish pose on our mats, here, here, or here. Really releasing the muscles of the front body. Wherever you are, we'll rest here for 4 more breaths. When you're ready to move on, we'll take a forward fold. So if you're resting totally on your block, you might come over to one side, one shoulder, and then remove the block. And then lift the head over the hips and then fold forward. You might take a wide-legged forward fold this time if you took your first fold with your feet towards one another. And same thing if we're standing. You might have already come down to your mat, or you might just walk the feet wide and take a deeper forward fold. So we're kind of counterbalancing our back bend, whichever you found. Listen to what you need here. Respond in a way that feels good. Three more breaths. And if you're not already resting on your mat, we are going to come to a seat on the mat with the legs extended, head over the hips, and then, let's bend the knees. Plant the feet. You might lay back, or you might just bring your hands back, totally up to you. And then you might tee out your hands or go post your arms if you're laying down. Just use your arms to support you. And then we're going to find a spinal twist here. So that might look like you dropping your knees from one side to the other, or it might look like you dropping your knees to one side and staying there. Wherever you are, thinking about resting the shoulder blades on the mat if you're laying back, or fully resting the hands on the mat if we're seated up. To allow the stretch to be in the lower body. Two more breaths here, and if you took stillness on one side, sorry, I left you hanging, we're going to switch to the other side. So check in with how the hips are feeling. Is there a pose that is interesting to you right now to give it a try? To allow your hips to stretch, feel a little bit of release of tension. When you feel even on both sides, whatever that feels like for you today, we will take our last pose. And maybe it feels good before you take your last pose to find another pose that you like, or send the knees toward the chest, or do what feels good for you. And then your last pose might have your legs extended, shimmying your shoulders together to create a shelf for your heart, your arms and hands finding rest. Or you might come alongside a wall, send your legs up against the wall, like this. This pose taps into the parasympathetic nervous system that takes over when we sleep. You can also put your legs on a chair, like that. Wherever you are, of course you can always be in a seat. We're going to bring our awareness to the body. You might notice sensations as you rotate your awareness throughout the body. It could be feelings there, tingling or movement, tension. And there might not be, and that's okay. Whatever you notice is complete as it is. Let's start with the jaw and the muscles of the face. Notice what is there. On your exhale, can you find a settling, release of tension, or a sense of ease? Bring your awareness to the column of your neck. On an exhale, finding ease. Be aware of the shoulders. The right arm. The right wrist. The right hand. Notice your left arm. Your left wrist. Your left hand. Notice the chest. Your abdomen. And bring your attention to your back body. Bring your awareness to your right leg. Right foot. Left leg. Left foot. Allow your awareness to flow from the feet to the crown of the head and back down. Your entire body. Your entire body. Notice that these sensations are all movements in awareness. Allow yourself to dissolve into being awareness. Noticing sensations coming and going, complete, with or without anything changing. Everything as it is. this awareness to connect to yourself. Connect to the world around you. When you're ready to waken the body from this rest, take a few moments to experience gratitude for this practice or for something in your life you are thankful for. Start to deepen the breath. Notice the changes that come as we deepen our breath. And maybe you bring some movement into your fingers or toes, ankles or wrists, hips and shoulders. You might take a good morning stretch up overhead or find a stretch that feels good for you. And then slowly and with intention, we will move into a comfortable seat to close out our practice. Often in yoga, when we finish our class together, we'll bring our palms facing one another in front of our chest, elbows wide. And I like to rub my hands together to create some heat. You can bring this heat to your face, you can leave it in your hands, you can stack it over your heart. You are important already. You always were. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you. Thank you for making this practice your own and for sharing it with me and everyone else practicing today. And thank you for making this time for yourself. I am grateful to you. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.